Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that we're having this many people jump on the call tonight. I'm excited about it. I asked Taylor Dallas, she is one of my ambassadors, to do this call tonight. She read a book a little while back called Go for No, which I've heard really great things about. And it really, after Taylor read that book, her business really started booming. I noticed that she was really overcoming a lot of fears that she had and getting out of her comfort zone. So I wanted to know what the magic was behind this book, and she said it was very inspiring to her. So I asked her to share. She is living in Panama City Beach, Florida. I'm very jealous. She frequents the beach, and I'm always seeing all those pictures on Facebook. But anyways, I'll let her maybe tell a little bit more about herself, and then Taylor, you're welcome to take the floor.
All right, thank you. So a little bit about me. Like she said, I'm in Florida now, but I actually grew up in West Kentucky, so I'm from the area. And that's how I knew Susan and got started with Plexus through our church. So I've remembered Brian and kind of got connected with Susan that way. So now I'm in Florida with my husband, and we have a puppy. So that's pretty much it. The beach and our puppy. Started with the book. I read the book probably about 2 months ago, and I think I've read it about 3 times now, all the way through, because each time I read it, I learn more things and I gather more from the book. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's called Go for No, and it's by Richard Fenton. And on the front, it says, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. I'm going to kind of give you a brief summary of what the book is about, since a lot of you may not have read it. So there's a salesman in this book named Eric, and basically he gets to see a parallel view of his life if he would have gone for no. So there's this telling moment in his life where he is talking with one of his regional sales managers, and that's the moment that he decided to change and go for no. But in one life he didn't, in one life he did. So it kind of gives you this parallel view of where his life went because he decided to go for it, and then where he is in this other life because he did not change after that event. So I'll kind of give you what that event was. It's the kind of the theme of the whole book and where it came from. And I have some notes. So if I'm looking down, I'm just reading these notes. So this event that happened in his life, he was a sales manager at a department store. They had a big regional sales manager coming in one day. And Eric was excited. He was the first salesman on the floor. So he was ready to have the big sale of the day to impress this manager. Well, he did. So the first customer basically buys an entire wardrobe, and he knew the manager saw it. He thought he did awesome. He was excited. And then after the sale, the regional manager comes to him and says, congratulations, that was a great sale. And he's really excited that he was there to see it. And he asked Eric, he said it was a great sale, but what did he say no to? And Eric just kind of sat there thinking, and he said nothing. And the sales manager said, well, then how did you know he was done shopping? So that's kind of the telling moment, and the setting of this whole book is kind of in our businesses. Do we say no for the customer? Do we decide when the sale is over? Or do we have this mental number in our head? Maybe it's $500 or $200, whatever we think a lot is. If we have that limit in our head and we end the sale before the customer is done, or maybe before they even find a product that they're looking for, maybe we don't ask enough questions, so we don't understand what they're even looking for. So that's kind of the basis for the book and where he comes from writing it. So I just have a few points that I gathered from the entire book as a whole. Number one, I kind of just went into it there, but let the customer end the sale. So out of that story, we don't want to recommend every product Plexus has, obviously. So that's where asking questions comes in, discovering what the customer wants, what they're looking for, what their health issues are, what their health goals are. We just need to get an idea of, if I was this person, what would I get? So we do that by asking all those discovery questions and building the relationship with them. a good example that I thought of when I was writing out these notes is with me. I had a customer who wanted to do the triplex. So I knew this customer needed help sleeping at night. I knew that the customer was not taking an omega supplement, and we all know that Mega X helps with sleep with ProBio at bedtime. But mentally, though, I was afraid to recommend Mega X because I thought maybe it's going to be too much money. Maybe the customer is not going to want to buy the product because she's going to say, well, she's just recommending all this stuff and it's too much money. So I was kind of making up this stuff in my head and letting that fear creep in, when in all reality, she needed help with sleep. So she needed Mega X. So I finally did recommend it, but I had to actually think about it and overcome that fear because I had mentally put this price tag in my head like, well, the triplex is already this much and the Mega X is going to make it this much more. But she was just fine with it and she purchased it no problem because that's what she was looking for. So we just have to be careful with overthinking that and think of the other person more than what we would want. We have to ask those questions, build the relationship, and find out where they are and take ourselves out of it so that we can go for no. Also, with this point, we want to make sure we have a good grasp on where the customer is with their health when we're recommending products. Make sure you know how desperate they are, because some people are interested more in the business and they're pretty healthy. So it's not as much a need as someone who has been struggling for years and years and they're just really desperate for help. So we have to ask more questions to kind of gauge where that customer is and what they might need, even more than a customer who is not really struggling with their health. So the quote that I want to end with on this point is, your fear of hearing the word no is the only thing standing between you and greatness. And that is what the regional manager told Eric. He stopped the sale in his head. The customer didn't say no to anything because he was scared that the customer would say no to one of his recommendations. So we can't let that get in the way of helping somebody actually overcome whatever they're dealing with. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No, that's great. Keep going.
Okay. The second point that I gathered is set goals for the number of no's you're going to collect. And this is where this book differs from other things that you read, because it sounds a little crazy at first, but he talks about in the book how success goals, and that would be yeses, how we stop when we reach the number we're looking for. And that's not a good thing. So just an example to kind of explain that. If you get one yes for every 10 people that you talk to about Plexus, then you would need to talk to 30 people in order to get your 3 yeses, if that's about what you get. If you get 3 people signed up on the first day of the month, most of us are going to stop trying because we reached our goal. We already got 3. Even if those were the first 3 we talked to, we reached our goal, so we're done, and we're going to stop trying. We lose the fuel that we need to keep going and to get more and more because we had a goal of 3, we reached it. So I thought that was super interesting because I had never thought of Plexus like that. But instead, you need to set your goal for, if I'm going to get 1 out of 10 to say yes, I need 30 no's. So even if you sign 3 people on the first day, you still have 27 no's to collect. So you're going to keep going, and odds are some of those 27 are going to be yeses. So you're actually going to succeed more than you would have just stopping with the 3. So the book really pushes that goals of no instead of success goals. Let's see. Also, he mentioned here that it's better to set daily and weekly goals. He really stressed that setting a monthly goal sometimes gives you too much of that imaginary time to recover. So if you skip a day here or there and it turns into a week, well, you still have 3 more weeks. So he says to try to set your goals daily and weekly just to keep yourself on track. It's easier that way. And if any of you actually purchase this book, it has some awesome goal setting options on page 48. And I can actually snap a picture and add it to the comments once this is posted. But It kind of gives you different options as far as how you want to break down according to your specific business, and how specific and how aggressive you want to be with those goals. And the other example he used here that I thought was very interesting is doctors and healthcare professionals. Going through med school, they know that eventually they're probably going to lose a patient, and that's just part of the job. But the main thing they learn in med school is that they have to say next and move on to the next patient who's waiting, and they have to give them their attention. They can't be looking back at the person that they lost, which is awful, but they have to learn that. If every doctor stopped practicing, if they lost a patient, we wouldn't have any doctors. So they learned to keep going, even though that was definitely a no, that definitely did not work out. They have to look to the next patient and keep going. And along with that, he said, he had the quote, Babe Ruth is remembered for his 714 homers, not his 1,330 strikeouts. And I never knew that about Babe Ruth. I only knew him because of his homers. So that's interesting to think about, too, when we're setting no goals instead of success goals, because his homers were obviously the successes, but he had several strikeouts, too. The third point that I have here is he tells us to strive to fail faster, which, again, sounds really crazy because that's not how we usually view our businesses. But mainly here, he talks about how no is not really no. It's not yet, or maybe later, or the time isn't right, or I just don't have the money today, or my kid's screaming right now, I can't do this right now. You just have to take no as maybe another time. So one of Eric's friends in the book tells how she prefers to hear no as opposed to any of the things I just said, maybe later, or I'll call you later. Because if somebody tells her no, she can then follow up with the question why. And she can try to find out what is the holdback. Why are they not saying yes? So then she knows what she has to do to make the sale. Then she has a better idea, what can I provide this person so that they will come around, or so that they will want to try this. So I thought that was interesting because I would rather hear maybe later than no, because I've always thought that was better. But that was an eye-opener for me. Another astonishing thing I read, though, was 44% of salespeople give up after one no. And I know I've heard this on other Plexus videos before, but I mean, 44%, that's almost half of the people who try to make a sale. They stop if someone says no. So we just have to remember that even if it's no, maybe later, we have to be outside that 44%. We're going to keep going to 5 to 11 no's maybe before they say yes. Within Eric's company in the book, he has a company in the future where he went for no. And he was explaining how they actually celebrate and they reward team members based on how many no's they get, their failed attempts. So they would have this monthly award called Go for No that he would give to somebody who had the most failed attempts. And they also, of course, had an award if you had the most successes. But what they found was the same person was getting those two awards every single month. So they went hand in hand, and that's kind of what fueled the whole book for him and his whole lifestyle. And another thing he pointed out there was we actually get, I don't know what you would say, we get recognized for our successes when we get paid. So whenever you get your paycheck, you're being recognized for your success, for all the yeses. You know, you're getting that. You get the recognition, you get your money. But we don't really get recognized for the failed attempts because that is really only a representation of our internal desire to succeed. So that's all the no's are. But that's why he would recognize these salespeople for the no's. But like I said, it turned out the same person was really getting both awards. So they were failing. They were going for no faster so that they could get both awards. And I have this short story I want to end with here. It's called the Alan Breed story. Alan Breed, he actually created airbag sensors, and I had never heard of this man before. but I'll read it really quick. It says, back in 1967, Alan Breed began offering the airbag sensors he invented to Detroit automakers, but the big three told him to get lost. They weren't interested in such an expensive item they perceived as unnecessary, but Breed didn't go away. Not only did he keep pestering the automakers, but he also invested huge quantities of time and money lobbying Congress. Finally, almost 20 years after he started, Congress passed legislation mandating the use of airbags. It still took another 10 years before his first big sale was made in 1995, almost 30 years after his first rejection. Breed Technology sold 23 million bag sensors, net profit of almost $120 million. Alan Breed chose to hear not yet instead of no. And then Eric's friend then follows with this question about the story. She said, did Breed earn $120 million in 1995, or did he earn $4 million a year for every year he was willing to hear no? So, I mean, we're blessed in this company. We don't have to work for 20 or 30 years to see a great return with Plexus. That's one of the awesome things about the company. But here, though, that makes such a good point, though, because he did earn $4 million every single year he heard no, but he kept going. So especially at first with Plexus, we have to remember as we're ranking up and working toward making more money and impacting more lives, that no is not no, it's just not yet, and we have to keep going. So I want to end with one of my favorite quotes from the book, and it's, do the thing you fear and the fear will go away. So I feel like that is the summary of the whole book, because I feel like we're all scared to hear no. We don't like to hear no because we take it personally. So just for repetition, hearing no over and over and over again, that's really the only way that we're going to get over the fear. So that's really all I had. But again, here's the book. It doesn't cost much on Amazon. Definitely order it. I think it only has about 75 pages, so it's a super quick read, but it has lots of good information. So that's really all I have today.
Awesome. I definitely need to read that book. You had so many good I really liked, I was taking some notes, and I liked what you said about don't look back at what you've lost, in terms of people saying no, but this made me think too about my white lines, people that maybe were in at some point and then they dropped off, or, customers that were in at some point and they dropped off. If you're like me, sometimes those white lines like blind you in the face when you look at the back office, and then you just forget about, all the green active people, and it can kind of weigh you down. So, I really liked that point to not, kind of move on past that. Well, anybody else have questions or comments or points that you wanted to add into?
You mentioned like with Babe Ruth, and I've heard this example before, we always notice people's successes, but we don't see what goes on. And the rough patches they go through, or the work that they go through to get there, we just see, it's like that iceberg example. We see the tip of the iceberg, which is the successes, but we don't see what's under the water. And that's the work that they put in, the no's people have gotten. And I'm sure if you talk to Jessica Heffley, she has more no's than all of us combined over a period of time, but that's what it takes to build there. And there's a couple newbies on the call. So I wanted to make sure when we're talking about going for no and getting no's, if you're working this as a business and not as a hobby, if you want this to replace a full-time income and you want to hit Emerald and go on the trips and get the cars, then you should be reaching out to at least 3 people a day. And so when we're talking about going for no, it's a numbers game. All of this is a numbers game. The more people you reach out to, the more yeses you're going to get. But it takes no's to get to the yeses. And so if you're new and you're not familiar with that, like I said, if you want this to replace a full-time income and you want it to be a business and not a hobby, you need to be reaching out to 3 people a day. The Diamonds said at the point where they were going Diamond from Emerald, they were reaching out to 10 people a day. So you can decide what number works for you as far as how fast you want your business to grow. But if you, like I said, if you're taking it seriously and working it like a business, you've got to reach out to new people every day. And the more you reach out to, the more yeses you'll get, the more people on your team. And sometimes you'll be really surprised at the yeses, because you never know who's been watching or who's interested. So sometimes it just takes you reaching out to them for them to be like, hey, yeah, I've been watching you and it's something I'm interested in. But that was great, Taylor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we all ought to track our nose this month. It's only the second of the month. So I think it would be neat if we all tracked our nose for the month. And then at the end of the month, we could look back and see, and then compare, what yeses we got to that. Yeah. So, because I really do find that holds true. It's a numbers game. Yeah. I mean, the more you contact, the more people that respond back to you, the more likely you are to get a yes. And like Lauren said, sometimes it comes from out of nowhere and from somebody that you never dreamed would say yes to you.
Yeah. And to get to places like Emerald, you have to be reaching out. Like, people aren't just going to come to you. You're not going to get 1,500 points just by people coming to you because they've seen your post. You've got to be reaching out to people too.
Yeah, that would be nice, but wouldn't it? It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, it doesn't quite happen like that.
Yeah.
So what all ways are y'all reaching out other than Facebook?
It depends on if it's somebody like I don't talk to often that I see on Facebook, I reach out through Facebook. But if it's somebody that I see often, I try to say, hey, let's get together for coffee or make plans to get together for dinner with them. Or, some people like maybe like family that lives far away, I'd give them a call. People that I'm closer to that I would feel comfortable calling on the phone, it wouldn't be weird for them. That's what I do. Y'all do it differently?
I would say 95+% of my messages go through Facebook Messenger just because I don't have all those people's phone numbers. And but I mean, I have reached out to a lot of people face to face too. I've found that people will tell you their why behind, why they would need the business or the products, like in conversation. And I feel like once you're really honing into that and you hear somebody's, you're like, you can just catch on to that, when they're yawning and saying, I need some coffee, or when they're talking about, they're tired, or when they're talking about they need money to pay for bills or this or that, or, their kid is struggling with Crohn's or, something. You can just always hear something. It seems like people will tell you that. And then I don't always mention Plexus in that conversation, but I use that to kind of time to build a relationship with them and just to ask more questions. Like Taylor was saying, dig a little deeper and get to know what their problems might be a little bit more and build that trust if they don't really know me that well yet.
Well, I had an interesting meet right at the end of the school year. We had a guest speaker come in from California, a motivational speaker. He's a stand-up comedian. He was really awesome, kept the audience captivated, and he was doing something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had to bend over, and he split his pants. So I immediately went to the office, grabbed a packet of Slim, and during the break, I walked up and handed it to him.
Oh, my word.
We've been having a conversation all summer, so
Oh.
hopefully that will come to fruition. He's got like 400,000 followers on Twitter.
Lucky he's a guy and not a girl, because if you'd have handed that to a girl,
Oh, there's a guy. There's a guy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can work it in the conversation when you're even like out and about with people you don't know. Even especially I think if you're wearing like a Plexus shirt. I've had a lot of people ask about my Plexus shirt and my bumper sticker or my little decal in the back of my window. Those are great conversation starters. And even today I was getting my eyeglasses and I was asking about my prescription, and my prescription has improved so much since I started Plexus, which has never happened before. My eyes have gotten so much better. And so I threw in a little, I started regulating my blood sugar and my vision improved. Yeah. And so we started talking about Plexus, but a lot of times you can find ways even to fit it in a conversation with people that are new. I feel like it always comes up, whether it's energy or people are tired or, I feel like it comes up a lot.
Yeah. And if you're involved in any groups on Facebook, outside of like Plexus groups and things, sometimes things will come up in those. Like I know I'm in a couple of moms groups, and sometimes people post things about, stomach issues with their kids or allergies and things like that. And then I'm able to kind of give them some education about gut health and ask them if they've ever, branched out to thinking about natural remedies or things that could help. And so sometimes I have found, and some of those people have actually told me no before, but it's another open door. If I see them post things like that, then I'll kind of go at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of y'all have heard of it, but I actually found an app. Since I'm kind of fairly new to Florida, I don't have a big network here. And the app is called Meetup, Meetup. And it has like tons of community groups of people who like exercise or do yoga or like young networking professionals. So I've like joined some of these groups. So just download it and you can kind of see what's in your area just to meet new people to just expand your network.
Cool. That's really neat.
That's a good one. And one thing about you that I forgot to mention was I remember you telling me like, I don't know that many people. I'm like, I know you can know that many people.
Right.
And, I mean, you read this book and like had 300 more friends added to your Facebook. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Y'all just accept anybody as your Facebook friend?
If we have mutual friends, I do.
Yeah, I'll look and see if we have any mutual friends and make sure they're legit. Like, because some people have only like 10 friends, and that's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, yours is a little different, probably just because of Thomas Rhett, and there may be people that connect you to him.
Yeah.
There may be.
Should I accept them or just, I don't know. I mean,
it's up to you. I would check and see how many friends they had. If they're legit people, I'd accept them because they'll see what you're posting. But if, like Susan said, if they only have like 10 friends, don't, because it's probably a scammer.
it shows how many friends they have.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because really, unless somebody like makes you nervous or you think they're like stalkerish, then that's a new person that might be interested.
Yeah.
But if they only have like 5 friends, it's probably a fake account.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had like tons of friend requests for Plexus people, and it's not that I'm trying to not add them, but I don't want all of my friends to be Plexus.
Yeah.
So I've been actually going to some of my good friends' websites, friends that have not been, and or Facebook pages, and go into their friends and just start adding some of their friends.
That's good.
Because those would be people who they're going to reach out to. If they decide to join. So I've kind of been doing that to get non-Plexus people too.
That's good.
Yeah. That's a great way to find people is find a close friend or a mutual friend and look through their friends list because you'll usually find somebody new that way.
I have a friend that's a Beachbody coach and she did a Sugar Buster challenge and she had 42 people comment they wanted to join. So I friend requested all of them. I thought, I got something for them. Nobody has to find out I did that, but they all were looking for something. So
that's right.
Yep.
I know Susan was going to talk about some other things. Should I go ahead and do that? I was going to talk about our promotion this month, but you go first.
Okay. Yeah. We, so we're doing the team dinner every month. And we decided on the 25th of August. So that's the last Thursday of the month. And we'll pick a place to have dinner locally. Sorry, Taylor. Maybe we'll get to Florida and have dinner there.
Maybe.
And then mark your calendars for the next Zoom call. It's going to be Tuesday night, September the 6th.
It's every first Tuesday, if you're ever not sure.
The first Tuesday of every month. So that way it's consistent and everybody will know when to expect it.
Where's the dinner going to be?
Where?
Yeah.
I don't think we have a place set in stone just yet, but we talked about Casa Vieja. Is that how you say that? Mm-hmm. In Hendersonville.
And to that, we want to bring people that are interested, or we want to bring people that are already signed up. What do we want to do there?
I think both. I think it's a great way. Of course, it's obviously a great way for us for team building and, getting to know each other better, or even sharing ideas. But it is good too for people who are interested, because of course you have that third party validation. You're going to have a whole team of people there. Plus they just get to know us and, see that we're not just about the business, it's about being together and the friendships and things like that too. So,
and especially for newbies who haven't quite crossed over into really selling, but they're interested in selling, it's good for them to see how other people run their business and do their business. And, if they become friends with Susan and Mark and these people from another social circle, and they see what they're doing with Plexus on Facebook, or they become friends, it's just a great way to kind of motivate and get them started up too, I think. Yeah. And we're opening it up too to, it doesn't have to be just our team. Like if there are people on other Plexus teams that want to come, they're welcome to. It's not exclusive to our team.
Yeah.
Like Heather Head, I was going to invite her to our meetings, and any of her girls, just because it's great too to bounce ideas off of each other. And it was good. I think it'll be good. I hope that we can grow it and make it something.
Yes, I think so. Well, and we also have something exciting. Some of you may already know about it, but Sunny is coming into town on August the 13th, Saturday. Mm-hmm. So she has decided with us that we are going to do an opportunity meeting that morning. Probably, I guess, around 10, but we don't have a time or a place set in stone just yet. But that's going to be awesome for our team. So we want to start inviting people now. And of course, like Taylor was saying, it's a numbers game. So, if you want 3 people to show up, then you probably need to invite 30 to 40 at least. And so sending out those invites now. I know I won't be able to be there, sadly. I have to work, but I'm definitely going to be trying to send some people there. So
yeah, and there's a lot of validation in having Sunny there, because people can see that people like we know are ranking up and hitting Emerald and getting the Lexus and going to Hawaii, and that alone brings a lot of validation. But Sunny's, it's nice to have a new person to bounce ideas off of, or to hear a point of view that maybe you haven't heard. Or so getting people to an event like this is great, and getting your level 1s and 2s there that are interested in the business is a great business building. If you watch any of the videos, they talk about how events build belief. Events are so important to get to and to get your team to, and it's really motivating. So it's good to get to try to talk to your level 1s and 2s and really encourage them to be able to show up and to invite anybody, even if it's just for support, to hear the testimonies. We'll have people give some testimonies, and I think most of you all have been to a opportunity meeting before, but it's a great time to get people, invite everybody. Like Susan said, it's a number game, so invite anybody that would be interested. Or even if sometimes I say, I'd just love to have your support. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Did you have something?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this month we have a Dream Team Pot of Gold. So for every ambassador you sign up with the welcome pack, $10 goes into a pot, and your name goes into a pot. And at the end of the month, we'll draw a name, and whoever's name we draw gets the whole pot. And
hey,
so
you couldn't have done that last month.
I know, Paige.
We're good. You've already signed up somebody this month. I mean, right now there's 2, and you're one of them. So yeah, I know. Sorry, you had a great month last month, but you can do it again.
Yahoo! I don't have another Valdosta.
Paige hit Leaders Retreat this week. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be kind of neat, especially going back to school. Sometimes I know for teachers, that's new connections and people you can talk to. So hopefully August will be a big month for us.
Yeah, we got somebody in your downline just is teaching at UNA now.
Who's that?
Last name's Watkins. The last name is Watkins. Who signed them up? And I can't remember what her first name is. We got a ton of new teachers.
Oh, huh. It's on this team?
Yeah.
Did you sign her up?
No, I didn't. Who?
Jennifer.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's Susan's girl.
Oh, I thought he said Lockett.
Watkins.
Oh, she's not a teacher.
Well, she's a fraud then.
What? Una's in trouble.
She does like maybe preschool age or something. Is that what you're thinking?
She's teaching first grade. She went to, did she go to Freed?
Yeah. Is it Angela maybe?
Young. She's pretty young.
Angela's her sister-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jennifer Watkins. Is it Jennifer?
Jennifer, they're both ambassadors. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told her to stay away from my people.
Oh, Mark, you got some.
I'm just kidding.
Competition.
I'm just kidding.
The heat. Well, Lauren, we talked about the 15th too. Are we going to still try to do that?
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
Yeah.
We're packing August.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about doing an opportunity meeting online for our team on the 15th of August. It is a Monday night, which would be great for those people that tell you no, that they can't come Saturday because they have plans. And you're like, awesome, we've got one Monday night and you can just come in your pajamas.
Right, there you go.
So Taylor, this is great for your people too, obviously that aren't local. And I know I have a lot of contacts too that are not local. So this would be great for them too. And we're still going to have some people set up to give some testimonies for this. So
yeah,
they don't have to get up and go anywhere.
Okay. Have we covered it all?
I think so.
Do we have anybody in Canada?
On our team?
Yeah.
Oh, but there are 9,000 Canadians that are Plexus ambassadors.
I saw that. Yeah. Well, it's funny. My teammate, who's been watching me for 9 months, I finally now have him talked into doing Plexus, and he's got family in Canada, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah. Their rules apply a little differently. Like in Australia, they're only allowed to post on Facebook about like ProBio 5 and was it Slim? So
the creams.
Oh yeah, the body cream.
They can't do, I don't think, anything that's like ingested.
Yeah, that's right.
It's in Canada?
No, that was in Australia. I'm just saying there are some things that are different rules apply, so that's something they'd want to look into. But there's actually a Facebook group, and it is Canadian Plexus Ambassadors or something like that. So all of that information is in that Facebook group. So if they do join, then we'll add them to that group.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Taylor, thank you so much. You did an awesome job.
That was great.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us tonight. We had a great turnout, and thank you for coming. And
was Kennedy on here?
Yeah.
Can she speak?
Hi.
There she is.
Yes.
Somebody else is on too.
That's Kennedy.
Legs.
These legs.
Well,
You look
That's funny.
it's just me seeing my feet. So y'all
At
see.
least she's not in the bathtub.
And I'll be drawing for the hat tonight when we get done too. So, but I don't know who the other person is on here.
I think it's Kelly Osborne. Kelly, is that you? No, it's a 606 number.
No, this is Kyle.
Oh, hey, Kyle.
How glad you could come.
You don't have to be so shy.
Well, I had to call
guys
in,
on
so I didn't
call.
really know how to talk on it. So.
Yeah, that's okay.
Gotcha.
We're glad.
I see Bobby's on here, so he gets to. So him and I
Bobby's
both.
here, yeah. My husband joined tonight too. I've been having to keep him in a cage back here though.
She don't let me talk.
She didn't let you talk.
I think
No.
Bobby.
Oh, Bobby sent a message. He got creative.
Okay.
Yeah. You had to mute.
Couldn't mute this, I guess. Had to mute because of the feedback. Oh, he just doesn't want to talk. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, and we will we'll be seeing you soon.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.